we have to have something different. It's not going to happen, you know. So this relaunch, which we started back in January 16, when we get to January 18, that's how long it's taken to make a comeback, you know. It's not easy now because you've got to create your own ID. You've got to create your own excitement. You've got to create an existence for yourself. Why? You know, why? And most of the labels coming through are doing it through social media. They're not, you know, they're not in any form selling it on the high street.
And how long has Monkeegenes been going, actually?
This will be our 15th year, and then Road before that, another 15 years, and then another label before that. Yeah. So I've been doing it for quite a while.
You've got a lot of learnings that you're applying now.
Yeah. I sort of, it's quite astonishing. It's like 41 years since I designed my first jean. I was 19. So it's been going on a long time. I'm a bit of a jeans anorak.
That's excellent. So going back to your younger sort of consumer profiles, so they're buying your jeans because they really like it and it's cool, and they're probably sort of going out in them. It's not your sort of everyday, you know, that's probably their best jeans if they're paying like £90 for it. Do you sort of get a chance to come to them with your ethical angle at all? So do they just buy your jeans and they like it, that's it, or do you get to have some kind of a conversation with them?
I think what's happening now, it's not, you know, it's not the 90 quid pair of jeans. You're probably right, they are this, but the wider ones that we're selling for 65, 70 would be an everyday event. Whether the punter out there last time round realised what we were all about, I would argue maybe. Now, the 16 to 25, especially the younger lot, the 16 to 20, their awareness of environmentalists is the highest. You know, they are much more turned on to it because they are, you know, they just are. And there's this wonderful thought, you know, that they have got a conscience about what's going on. You know, this bit where, you know, we've got a kid who models for us, and, you know, I picked him up from the railway station for a shoot. He was sitting, not looking at his mobile phone. He was sitting reading a book. If you want to get him at the weekends, he hadn't even got his mobile phone on him. And yet he's as hip as they come, you know. He's in a lead sings with a band. His band doesn't bother with social media. He just does it because they've got a mad following. He is this new age of enlightened youth coming through who understand that the corporate couldn't give a toss, make as much money as possible. That sort of world, they're anti. You know, you've only got to look at the success of the wonderful Labour Party with, you know, the main man in charge is exactly that voice, and exactly why the youth for the first time got behind politics, because he is standing up for something that's not corporate. And I think it's anti-establishment, anti-corporate. That's what's coming through. And there's definitely an element of kids bored to death with the offer they're getting on the high street.
Right.
You know, because it is, you know, someone like my daughter, she will shop in charity shops, retro shops, vintage shops, so she can collect something that she likes. And it's the muster of the clothes, it's the quality of the clothes. She doesn't necessarily understand that totally, but she just loves it because it's got a drape, it hangs properly, it feels nice to wear. I mean, she comes to mine and sort of goes through my back catalogue of stuff and, you know, pulls it apart looking for stuff that, you know, I bought because it attracted me from, you know, trips wherever, or that are my back catalogue of gear. But the boredom with the kids on what's going on in the high street is very obvious.
Yeah.
All the new labels that have got an edge that are happening are online, and if they're shops, they're their own shop.
And this age group are also very much online, aren't they? So that's how they relate to the world and manage the world, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, although there is a sign that might, you know, they do like, you know, they like to go out and about, and they like going around shops, but it's not the shops on the high street, you know, it's the ones that are pitched that are sort of, they've got something different. They don't It's online. It's not touchy feely, that's the problem with online. It's not. You know, my daughter doesn't buy anything online. She goes shopping,
Okay.
but she doesn't go in the places that are the obvious. The guy who models for us, you know, on a Thursday, he goes to this one charity shop because that's when they have their drop of gear, and he just goes through it looking for, like, you know, any one piece that he's going to cherry. And he with, you know, when he modelled for us, I asked what he thought of the range before I ever asked him to model, because if he didn't like it, I didn't want him to do it, but he loved it, so he did it.
Yeah. Earlier on, you were saying that you are trying to sell on the high street as well with Urban Outfitters and Top Man. So you do that. Your products are available on the high street. Now, when you're selling through a stockist, do you have some kind of a demand from them? Because you're a sustainable brand. Are you quite particular about who you sell, what kind of stockist you sell through because of your sustainable angle? Or do you just go with anyone knowing that your label will speak for who you are?
Well, the two that you mentioned, Top Man and Urban, are to give us, you know, to put the label out there. But also the Top Man one is only Oxford Circus. The Urban, you know, they do have the type of customer that we're trying to attract walking in. Are they ethical? Probably not. We do have absolutely 100% ethical shops. So the biggest market for that is Germany. This country, it's the only ones actually going forward, taking money. Spoke to our sales guy the other day, and like, lady's opened up in Brighton. She's opened up 3 stores in the last couple of years, all around that area. And lady who's got one in Exeter, she opened up a men's one in Exeter. They're the only ones where you hear them, like, it's like going back, you know, a decade. Where they're got outlets, you know, again, they're not in what you're suggesting high street, they're off the street, and they get deals because there's empty units, you know. I mean, the most exciting one we've got in London is a pop-up store that's coming up in Shoreditch, which is exciting because, you know, she wants us because we've got something that's different. It's hard to evolve your label. You know, the Urban Outfitters and the Top Man on Oxford Circus is a necessity just to get us, you know, out there so people can see it.
Yeah. So what do you think about, because you're seeing from your younger consumers that there is a demand for your jeans. What do you think about the market as a whole in Britain for sustainable fashion? Do you think that there's potential to grow?
I think it's similar to how we choose our manufacturing partner. If the factory is owned by someone who is that way inclined, then you've got a chance of a part. So we don't go, if a factory doesn't have a GOT certification, we're too small to demand anything. We just don't deal with them. So that's the only manufacturing partners that we'll hook up with. Whether on the high street ethical becomes you know, gathers momentum, it will be because the people who actually own the stores truly want to become sustainable. At the moment, unfortunately, I can't give you one example of that. You know, what you'll get, a sniff of organic or a sniff of recycle, and it's used as a tool rather than a belief. You know, what we need is a success on the high street to be actually ethical. You know, is that happening? No.